Why are they doing this? What is Major League Baseball thinking? We're ranting today, 1,000,000%. What's going on, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB offseason recap. And as you can tell by that intro, I am not happy with the latest decision from Major League Baseball and Mr. Robbie himself, Robert Manfred. It is pretty much confirmed that the universal DH is not coming back in 2021. And I would say 90% of the baseball community is mad today. Now, there's that 10% that is really excited because pitchers get to hit again and small ball is coming back in the traditional way of the National League is making a return. But for me, I think it's bad for baseball. We're going to talk about exactly why in just a second. We also have a huge trade breaking news involving the Angels and the Reds, so we'll talk about that. But before we do, I'm not sure when else I'll get to talk about this because it's completely irrelevant, but Family Guy, one of my favorite TV shows of all time, they took a dig at the Astros, and it was really funny.
We knew the Astros were stealing signals. Someone was back there banging on a trash can. We just couldn't figure out who.
Several players were interviewed by the league, but none would reveal the mastermind of this garbage can scheme.
All right, so now that we have all of the goofy stuff out the way, let's go ahead and talk about the breaking news. A trade just happened between the Angels and the Reds, and I could not be happier for Angels fans. Reds fans, maybe not so much because, in my opinion, you just got swindled. So let's go ahead and break it down real quick. The Angels are receiving Raisel Iglesias, Iggy, as Trevor Bauer called him in the vlogs. They are getting him in return for Noah Ramirez. That's it. That's all that it took to acquire the services of Raisel Iglesias, is sending away a guy that has a +4 ERA. He has not been great to start his career, talking about Noah Ramirez. But on the other hand, Raisel Iglesias, he has a career 3.15 ERA. And for anyone that doesn't like ERA, he has a 3.44 FIP. That is still really good. And he broke out in 2020. Yes, I understand that it was only a 60-game season, but he finished it with a 1.84 FIP, a 12.1 strikeouts per 9, and he only walked 2 hitters per 9 innings. Those are elite numbers. And what do the Angels need? Pitchers on top of pitchers on pitchers. The only other thing that I would recommend to the Angels is that they need to go out and sign either Brad Hand or Liam Hendriks. Make sure that Raisel Iglesias feels comfortable, not as the closing pitcher, but as a setup man, kind of how Edwin Diaz, he went back to normal because he didn't have the pressure of being a closer. He was filthy in 2020. A lot of people are not giving him the respect that he deserves, but I truly think that Robles and Iglesias and either Brad Hand or Liam Hendriks would be a dominant 7th through 9th inning punch. They need to do that right now. And then their final chess piece move needs to be signing Trevor Bauer. Could you imagine Brad Hand, Trevor Bauer, and Iglesias all as newcomers for the Angels pitching staff going into the next season? That's the only thing that they need, because Jared Walsh, thank the baseball gods, he reminded the Angels that they already have a great offense and they have young players that can come up and produce. So when you have Jared Walsh and hopefully a more productive season from Joe Adell, combining with Anthony Rendon and Mike Trout, you don't really need too much, especially when Mike Trout is your best player, possibly the greatest offensive force that we have seen since Barry Bonds. So you don't need a whole lot to succeed offensively. So I'm really happy for Angels fans. I'm not so much happy for Reds fans because this was a heist for all intents and purposes. So 100% the Reds just got worse and the Angels got a whole lot better, and they did not have to give up a whole lot. So realistically, this is an A+ trade for the Angels, but the job is not done just yet. You need to go get more starting pitchers. You cannot rely on Patrick Sandoval or whatever his name is, or Griffith Canning. I think that he showed some promise, but you definitely need an ace, whether it's Trevor Bauer or making a trade, maybe Lance Lynn. The Angels and the Rangers have done deals in the past, so go get a new ace. Dylan Bundy, you have Andrew Heaney, and a third guy, a fourth guy. That needs to happen. We need Mike Trout in the playoffs, please. He only has 12 playoff at-bats. He has 1 playoff hit. I have more ears than Mike Trout has playoff hits. That can't happen going forward, but that is the Iglesias trade in a nutshell. Now what we're going to do is talk about the stupid decision that Robert Manfred is choosing to implement going forward into the 2021 season. I do have to preface this because it is not 100% confirmed, but I even went with a shirt that really fits the theme of today's video. It says, what does it say? I don't remember. It says lift big and bat flip. That pertains to hitters. What do hitters do? They hit. What do pitchers do? They pitch. That is my That's just my opinion. That's how I feel baseball should go going forward, because if you did not look at the stats for ratings in the 2020 season, Major League Baseball actually beat out the NBA Finals. That never happens, especially when the Lakers are in and LeBron is on the Lakers. You are never supposed to beat the NBA. Now, I know things got a little bit political, so it turned a lot of people off, but Major League Baseball finally took a step forward, and now they are taking 2 steps back because this is stupid. So according to the reports, again, this is just, it's not 100% confirmed, but to me, knowing Robert Manfred and his track record, he only cares about one thing, and that is money and revenue. And if you don't bring back the universal DH, guess what? All of the NL teams are saving money because they already have their DH. They already have their hitter. And let's talk about the Braves, because I think that they are the most affected by this decision. The Braves now have to hit Mike Soroka, who is coming off an Achilles injury. So by proxy, the league is basically saying that they would rather see Mike Soroka try and hit with a runner in scoring position with 2 outs, which most likely is not going to result in a run or a walk or anything like that. He's coming off an injury, so now he has to try and beat out an infield hit. What are we doing? Marcell Ozuna is a perfect DH. And a couple days ago, the Braves non-tendered Adam Duvall. The Braves now have to choose between Adam Duvall, who is a way better defender than Marcell Ozuna, or they have to re-sign Marcell Ozuna and put him in left field and risk him probably being the worst outfield defender in all of baseball, up there with Jesse Winker and Nick Castellanos and Kyle Schwarber. Schwarber did get better, but they're all very bad in their own respects. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. The fact that the Braves are getting worse because of a rule change, I'm not okay with that. I'm not going to have Ozuna and Duvall in the same lineup if they can't hit them both at the same time. One of them is going to have to play the outfield, and to me, I think the Braves do end up signing or re-signing Adam Duvall because he plays a Gold Glove caliber outfield. If you did not know, he's very underrated. No one talks about him because he's never won that Gold Glove, but he has been a monster defensively. So if I'm the Braves general manager, I'm getting, plus power, I'm getting great defense. I would give Adam Duvall the money because he's not going to earn as much, so you're kind of getting a win-win. Now Marcell Ozuna is going to have to go to the American League, which is probably fine for him. He might get even more dollars because it's all supply and demand. There's even less teams looking for a DH because half the league just got cut off. So I know I went kind of all over the place, but the Braves now have to hit Max Fried and Mike Soroka, and Soroka is coming off a devastating surgery, and now they're expecting him to hit because they do not want to spend that extra money to have an extra hitter in that lineup, because they would rather pay their pitcher one time as opposed to the pitcher and the DH 2 separate times. It's so cheap. These billionaires are getting away with the dumbest things ever, and I can't put all of the blame on Robert Manfred because he simply is the puppet for all of the owners. He's not like Roger Goodell. Roger Goodell, he is the #1 guy, and the owners kind of work for him. No. Robert Manfred is a puppet for the other owners in Major League Baseball, so he is simply doing their bidding. But the San Francisco Giants, just to put this all into perspective, they are already prepping to play next season without a DH. So if that is not a sign that the universal DH is kaput, it is not coming back, I don't know what is. But the Braves 1,000,000% are going to be affected by this because they have to choose between Duvall and Ozuna, and now Mike Soroka is going to have to hit and run the bases after coming off an Achilles injury. That is irresponsible, and I do not like that, simply because they can prevent it and keep Mike Soroka on the bench and have Marcell freaking Ozuna hit for him. The Reds cannot DH Jesse Winker or Nicholas Castellanos, so they're going to have to play the outfield. What does that mean for their brand new signing? I don't remember where he came from. What was his name? The center fielder, Akiyama? I don't know where Shogo is going to play because you are not going to bench Nick Senzel. He is a beast out there in center field, one of the best rookies in all of baseball. So Jesse Winker and Castellanos are going to have to split some time in the outfield, possibly at first base, and give Joey Votto a day off, maybe third base for Castellanos. So the Reds are going to be affected. And then last but not least, the Mets. Pete Alonso is their first baseman going forward, but he got some time off last year because Dominic Smith was able to play play a pretty decent first base. That can't happen anymore, so he's going to have to play the outfield, where he has a -8 career DRS. That's defensive, runs, saves. He is an awful outfielder, but that is where he is going to have to live, because Pete Alonso is not going to play third base or the outfield, because you already have JD Davis, who's most likely going to have to play third base or a corner outfield. He's not going to play center field because I think they have Marisnik, or possibly Marisnik might leave. This is just overall a horrible decision. I understand the flip side, where people want the nostalgic baseball back in their life. They want small ball. They want pitchers hitting because of the Bartolo Colon home run. If that Bartolo Colon home run never happened, I don't think that this would be a big issue. But of course it did. One of the greatest moments in Major League Baseball history, at least to me. So I understand the other point of view, but if I just say Mike Soroka, Achilles injury, and you can prevent him running the bases and fill in that role with Marcell Ozuna, who almost won MVP without playing defense, I would do that. This is good for the Nelson Cruzes of the world, guys who are getting up there in age. They can't really move too well athletically, but they can still put barrel to the ball and hit something 500 feet and produce at an MVP caliber. I mean, I don't understand what Major League Baseball is doing. They finally gained some ground on NFL and NBA. They were neck and neck with the NBA Finals and actually surpassed them. And I think in large part because offense was awesome in 2020, and now they're taking it away and they're giving us old baseball, which is fine. I still love the game of baseball. I'm not going to be harmed by this because I'm just the content creator, but I feel bad for the Nelson Cruzes and the Marcell Ozunas of the world. They're now limited to just half the league, as opposed to being able to choose where they want, whether it's better taxes or whether they have a better chance of winning the World Series. They can no longer make all of baseball a better league, just half of baseball a better league. So I'm not down for that. Let me know your opinions in the comment section down below. What do you make of the Raisel Iglesias trade? I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Come on, Robbie. What are we doing?